Hey guys, how's it going? Let me know how your day's been. So watching paint dry today. Hey buddy boy, what's happening? Alex, how's it going, dude? Uh, Today has been a day of. I mean, this is probably going to go back to VWAP now. Um, I was basically bidding here. Um, yeah, it kind of looks like it's going now. It's always the same. Just been a relatively shocking day in treasuries. Not any real flows, volume's been shit as well. The roll is happening, so it makes sense. Yeah, and then we're going now. The offer is being pulled. C'est la vie. But let me know how you guys are doing. We'll jump into indices in a sec. I was thinking, so after the bond auction, we were, basically probing the lows. So I was thinking, right, I mean, are we going to get a bit of a breakout here? Kind of unlikely at this time. So I ended up scratching, and then we went back up, and I was bidding here on 30s for a change. And then basically just everything started to go offered. So I'm not sitting through this at this time in the day. I'm not wanting to be seeing like 800 lifted into the offer staying strong, and then just continue two-way. I just want to see some. I want to see some through movement back up to VWAP. To be honest, I'm not sitting in something at this time. But yeah, it's to be expected at the roll, right? We've just literally put more volume now into the next contract, so you've got a sort of crossover between the two. Plus, as well, GDP and stuff is tomorrow, which is the day. We've got Nvidia earnings after close, right? Is that 4 p.m. they come out, so we can catch that, which will be nice. But yeah, let me know how your session's been if you've been trading. I've not checked ES, so we shall have a look. Let me clear these prints. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, we're a little bit of an influx of buying coming in now, but we shall see. You're at the market a whole week, but there was some nice action nonetheless these days. Yeah, exactamundo. Yeah, I'll have a look at ES. I'd imagine ES is like an absolute chop fest today. Um, Considering bonds has been as well, I can't imagine any real direction today. Right, I can't look at this anymore. I literally was bidding here and then scratched, and then we're working our way up. But the curve's all out of whack today, you know. Nice, good idea, mate. Hey, you never want to jump in with something like that, to be honest with you. What is it you're mainly trading? Is it ES or is it currencies? I think you said you were trading CFDs or something, right? Right, let's jump into ES, see what's happening here. Let's close this. Not going to look at this anymore. No. And then we'll bring up the ladders. Look at treasuries anymore, my head's going to pop. Wow. Holy smokes, we've absolutely shit ourselves. Here, what's going on? Oh, no delta as well. Wow. So we have just absolutely dumped on open today. Straight line stuff. Wow. Yeah, massive sell off. Jesus. Where's this going? Okay, really key level right now. Here, see if this is going to be swept at all. It's a little bit of a lower volume node down here, so if we don't protect this, this can go. Because yeah, if you look, just basically the bid is just disappeared. Hey mate, um, weird action to be honest with you. I think well, we've got Nvidia earnings coming out. Um, they're coming out in 2 hours. So really key level right now. We've just swept a basically a swing low, so we'll probably work our way back up. There's quite a lot of volume down below that, so which you can see, classic sweeperoo. Market's pretty overextended today. I mean, how many points is this, or ticks, or whatever? So from open all the way down, Jesus, it's 61 points. 245 tickaroos. Yeah, well, there's Nvidia earnings coming out. That will definitely rip the market. It's coming out at 4 o'clock, I think, just at close. I need to double check that. How's it going, Ants? What's happening, bud? Alex, how's it going? How's your day been, mate? Have you been trading at all? I'm pretty square-eyed after Treasury's in like a 20 tick range, no follow through. Dan, how's it going? So 420 in video. Nice. That's a huge accomplishment, mate. Wow. Well done. Are you specifically just trading NQ? 10-day win streaks was a gem. Yeah, definitely, dude. It gives you the confirmation, that's for sure. So we seem to be lingering around down here. A lot of absorption on the bid. Thousands of contracts hitting to the bid and absorbed. We are into this little mini high volume node that you can see. And it is a sweet point, so we'll see if the market is going to extend through here or not. Nice. Nicely done. What are you using? What platform are you using for TPO? Does Bookmap have that? Like a charting package, or are you using like Ninja or something? Yeah, I mean, let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see this. Yeah, so there's a lot single prints left here. This is a really key level on ES right now. I'm going to be honest, I cannot see us cracking through here, and then you've got this high volume node. You've got tons of volume here. In fact, let me just move this. So move drawing, you can see all this huge amount of volume here. So you know, you have to think to yourself, is someone going to come into the market right now and absolutely bang it pre-Nvidia stuff? Probably not. Like this is the type of level that you would be taking profits at, right? And then you have basically the covering going to happen. People that shorted down here, all this absorption was them taking profit. Now they have to cover, then your fresh buying comes in, and then before you know it, you're back up at the a sort of higher volume area up here. Let's see how quickly it can reverse if that's to be the play. Only negative 2.8k delta today. Motive wave, okay. When it goes to the options and the correlations of futures, that's going to be a huge help too. Yeah, yeah, it definitely helps for ES. Typically, you have, of course, options, futures, the underlying as well, where people need to hedge and work around their positions. This time in sales when the market is really thin like this, look at the lack of size of orders. In this time we've seen 46 contracts, 39, 41. Yeah, it's just a completely different phase that we're in at the minute. You need to have slightly wider. slightly wider stops and larger targets when this is the case, or you need to be extremely precise. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. It's good that you found order flow and stuff so early on in your trading journey, to be honest. So not too far away from value area high. Just keep on pressing here. It's going to be a bit of short covering. Yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that, buddy. I would say that the fact that you found this much earlier, you probably saved years on your trading life or journey, where you want to look at it. Yeah, exactly. It's really confusing when you first look at it. To really summarize it, you're just going with the passive, least resistance and just making educated plays. There is a little bit of singles away up here. We're just filling this out here. So if we can break above 19 3/4, so here, if we break basically above this level, we should have another little poparoo. We'll just draw that out. It's basically where the singles start again because we've just filled out the start of them. So we'll see how the market's going to do it. But as you can see, it looks like the continual theme so far today is buying's come in, and then basically the offer is absorbing to a level, then the bid has been pulled. That's how you get this far down with basically flat delta, you know. No problem, mate. Keep on chatting away. I don't know if you get any questions. I can't really see too much happening here. I think we'll maybe work our way back up to probably 96's, challenge this resistance area. Then we'll maybe fill out the singles here. But let me get the pen. So pretty much plan of attack here. We potentially retest this level. We have this low in here, which has been defended. There's 300 contracts hit in here, basically absorbed in the bid and then lifted up, which took us to here. So there is Nvidia coming out at 20 past, as Dan had said. So just after close. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go up and somewhat test this area and then kind of chop around here. Would probably be the play. And you're going to need to see some significant size actually start to come in or the offer be pulled because the offer has just been really strong. It's been absorbing all day, which again is how you get this. It's how you get this move just straight down on basically no real selling. We had some initial selling coming in, but then if you look at all this buying here, the market basically was flat, so the offer absorbed all of this. Let me try and. So the offer absorbed all of this buying here. And then basically once they've challenged, these buyers have had to become sellers, and the bid was pulled on the way down. So that's your elevator pitch of what's happened. And then now we need to decide really what we're doing, but same play stands as we just discussed. Probably faff around here, potentially try and reclaim. I can't see us getting back above POC here until Nvidia earnings. It's quite a whiles away. Yeah, for still many more, yeah. I could very easily do it on the Nvidia numbers, but we'll see. I mean, if the thing is, the continual theme here is offer absorb, bid pull, and then the buyers need to basically start covering. And then the move, this little pop up that you had a look at, um, was in essence people that were selling aggressively down here that got absorbed, and then they had a little pull back in. You can see that by the flows that come in, and this is this here. So buyers need to basically break above 90s and 19 3/4 to fill out those singles and then retest this level. And until then, this is just chop suey, chopperoo. Let me know if you guys have got any open positions or anything. I'm going to close this time and sales, to be honest, as it's not really that useful when it's so thin. It's been good, mate. This is summer months, of course, so there's not a huge amount of volume been happening, but yeah, just still putting up casual winning days. I wouldn't say the last couple of months have been killing it by any means, but still positive months, which is good. And to be honest, when the volume like this is happening and you've got the roll in treasuries as well, I'm pretty much happy just to even make anything when the market's like this, to be honest. Typically, when the volume picks up in next month, it'll start to come in a bit more. Because this is the thing, even though the market's moving, it's not moving on a whole lot of volume, which just me personally, I find that slightly harder to read. Nice little bit of two-way right here. 216 offered, 442 absorbed in the bid. Yeah, this is. So let's see if these sellers take this right through. They just pulled that there. Carlos, good question. Both, matey. So trade with through Teton for my personal accounts, and then through Rhythmic with prop. It depends. I can run two instances. I copy trade a prop accounts, but I don't obviously cross book them with a personal account. Doesn't make any sense. So more selective in the personal account, um, and I wouldn't say take riskier plays, but size up on the prop accounts because that's what they're there to be used for. To be honest, but as I've discussed this in the past, the prop accounts, in my opinion, should be used in a way where you say you take a 50k account, which is that's the best bang for your buck in terms of drawdown for target to pass them. So you pass them, and then you need to really dial in your risk because you've really only got a couple of k drawdown, which is what 4%, maybe five. You maybe got 4 or 5% drawdown. So you need to have your risk really dialed in, and that's the thing. If you are really dialing in your risk and you're only trading one account with a 50k, in order to actually make some Benjis, you need to be sizing up, which defeats the purpose. So it's better to copy trade smaller accounts and keep your risk extremely tight. Um, so that when you have a winning day, say you only make $100, you're timesing that by 5 or you're timesing that by 10 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's the way to beat prop firms. Because in the other side of things, if you want to try and make $500 a day, you're typically going to have to be risking either, a couple $100 a trade, or you're taking tons of positions to get to the $500, and then the commissions eat you. Um, so it's much easier just to keep the risk really small and to scale up the accounts than to actually increase your leverage per account, if that makes sense. So that would be my recommendation for it. And that's the reason why people don't tend to keep funded accounts for more than 3 months because they risk too much. Really, you want to give yourself like 10 losing days, uh, in a row, so that to take you out of the game of that account. And realistically, that's not going to happen. I mean, you could probably even go as more. You probably do 5 or 6 days, to be honest. But your own journal and own stats should basically tell you that. Carlos, I would say, I mean, this depends on your experience, mate. If you've not been trading for a while, there's no point going with 10 accounts if you can't pass one. Do you know what I mean? But if you've been doing it for a while, then by all means go for the 10. I would say just to preserve money. Um, it depends on your style. Some people have not got the patience for evaluations to just over leverage and then just reset them. Um, but I think it's good practice. Rome wasn't built in a day, so if it takes you a month or 5 weeks or whatever, to pass the accounts, who cares? Just pass them, and it gets you good practice, helps you build a sample size as well. Um, but I would say, if you've never passed prop firm accounts and you've never succeeded at that, there's no point going for 10 accounts. Do you know what I mean? You need to prove to yourself and build up enough data to do it with one first and then add them on after. But I think realistically, once you do get proficient at it all, you should be copy trading the accounts. And again, back to the part which was discussed, is to then copy trade the accounts, really. And you want to give yourself as much room to maneuver. You never have ideally 1 week or one day you know, should never knock you out of the game. It needs to just be like any other job. You have a losing day, you have a shit day at the office, bad day at work, tomorrow's another day. You never know what kind of volume's going to be like tomorrow. Are they going to bang highs and lows? You don't know. But the thing is, you need to make sure that you're making enough money on your winning days so that your losing days, don't set you back so long. Do you know what I mean? There's no point there's no point making a couple $100 a day and then losing a grand when you lose. Do you know what I mean? You just set yourself back. So you need to have your average losing day. It needs to be no more than your average winning, or at least no more than two times. It can't set you back, a week or so, worth of winning days. Not only will that crush your soul, but it's against you in the long run. You trade one contract, 10-point scalp, goal with 20 points, stop. I'll take 3 trades only if I keep winning. Yeah, exactly. ATR is a good one, um, just to check for your stop levels. Now, here's the thing: you can have an inverse risk to reward like you've got there, mate. But if you're consistently winning, you just need to be really good at managing the risk. So what I'd advise you to look into, mate, is you're going to go through periods where you're going to hit your 20 ticks stop, right? Oh, sorry, 20 points, which is a lot of breathing room over the sample size. Once you've got 100 trades under your belt, you'll be able to realize if you just keep that stop placement, you'll be able to see that, right, um, any time it's went past 16 points, it's never came back. So you don't need the full 20-point stop. You know, 16 points is sufficient, or 50. I mean, these numbers are arbitrary, but your data and sample size will back that up. So what you then do is you then basically save yourself 5 points, which over the course of a trading year is a lot. It's the way to do it. But then you need to obviously, make sure you're not curve fitting, because that's, you can be once typically typically in trading people fall into two brackets. They don't journal at all and they've got no idea what trades it took last week, or they're in the other side of the fence and they track everything, um, and they start curve fitting too much. So you need to make sure that you've got a big enough sample to support any tweaks in your methodology that you're using. Carlos, it's the average true range. The average true range, which is basically, you can set it for a specific time frame or whatever, or the day, and that basically tells you how many points or ticks that the product moves in a day. And typically, you're going to take like the average 14 or 21 days, which basically is a gauge for volatility. So if the market's wild, you're going to have a higher ATR than than you are when it's not. So that gives you an indication of how wide to set your stops and targets as an example. If you're scalping, you can maybe take that. You can do it by time frame, you can do it by day. It just depends how precise you want to be. Yeah, so pretty much it really depends on your strategy, but let me just give you an example. So say for example ES moves 100 ticks a day, right? It doesn't, but it moves more than that. But just as an example, so say it moves 100 ticks a day. In fact, let me use Treasury as an example because I actually can tell you that. So the 10 year when it's decent volatility, for the full day will move something like 37 to 40 ticks. Okay, now that's the average. So typically, you're if you've moved an X amount of ATR, it's likely that can mean revert back into an average, or you would set your stop like maybe 50% or 25% ATR as an example. And typically, you can use that in confluence with, standard deviations in terms of volume. Once it actually moves a certain proportion, it tends to at least have a pullback. So the general definition of it is it's just a volatility indicator per se. Nice. Very good. Very good numbers. Hey, Jamesy boy. How's it going? How's it going, matey? How's your day been? Yes. Ask away, mate. Early in the session, we saw price go down, but Delta was relatively flat. Can I infer that they were pulling the bid? No, you're absolutely spot on. We actually just discussed this earlier in the stream, mate. So, um, let me get my trusty pen out here for you. Okay, so a lot of selling come in here. Basically, prices following that with some size that come in, right? Then we have this chunk here where basically aggressive buying started to come in, but market was, relatively flat in this range here. You can see, right? And then when we started selling off, we had buyers started to cover, and basically the bid was pulled to get down here. That's how you get a day where the delta is flat, but you're down 60 points or whatever. No, no problem. I'll cover it again. I think it's a good talking point. Um, Because yeah, when you first come to the chart, you should be having a look and saying, right, like what's the theme on the session? You know, you're kind of like putting the jigsaw parts together. Excuse the pun on the platform. And very typically, when you get all the way down here, made a low on delta, and then we're at this key level here, down here, that we have drawn. And likely, is this level going to continue to break and smash through when Nvidia earnings is coming out? Most likely not. But yeah, your analysis is spot on, mate. And to be honest with you, in summer months, and if you bring up a time in sales with actually no real volume happening, this is how the market is going to move in these current regimes. It's not like extremely straightforward. It's not like aggressive selling comes in or aggressive buying comes in and the market just goes up or down, respective of the delta. But actually, did you say you basically faded? Um, yeah, there was no news catalyst or anything for this. What we were discussing yesterday in the Discord was actually the options levels. So what would be interesting to see if this was below an options level. So they had to start basically selling to cover. But yeah, James, it's definitely important, and you'll realize when you go through different regimes. Like I mean, seriously, every day that you, I know it sounds relatively cliche, but every day you spend in front of the screen and you see more of this, you're basically training yourself so that when it happens again, you've got a realization of like what's going on. Um, and it sort of teaches you different regimes as to what's happening. And very typically, if the bid gets pulled, um, there's just no defense. It doesn't need to have a lot of size to start coming in to move the market or anything. It's just there's no defense. It's like there's no blue team to stop the market going down. And to be perfectly honest with you, um, if you were a large fund, and the bid's been pulled, you're not really that bothered because if you know you've got thousands and thousands of contracts to start buying down at say 80s or whatever, and you've got an average price to get filled and you've got thousands of contracts to trade, does it really matter that it's going down? So that's why they don't show defense because they're happy for the market to go down and buy it back up. Yeah, very well could be. Very well could be. I mean, they're expecting a huge move in Nvidia. I can't remember the exact number. I think it was something like 6% or something, like with the data that comes out. And it would be classic fashion right now. Um, with the pull bids all day, start absorbing it, at the lows and just absorb price. And Nvidia puts out a beat, and then we moon. back up to this point of control. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the exact number. It's a high number anyway. And the reason why it's so significant is because this whole year the market you might as well just press delete in the other 493 stocks in the S&P. You might as well just they might as well not be there. They're not doing anything. They're not putting up great years. They're actually having negative years that the market is going extremely bad. So all the money is just flowing into the Magnificent Seven, and it's basically propping up everything. So if it does get a beat or a miss, the market really takes it either bad or good. Well, I mean, very, very typically, um, when the market drops has a big pullback, there's always tons of money waiting to buy, always, because if a market pulls back, like this is not even a big pullback, but when the market drops a lot, there's tons of people that are basically looking to get in so they can hold it for the next number of years. Big pension funds, hedge funds that are holding it for, it's in the strategy to be holding it for the next couple of years. So if it drops 3% or whatever, they're like happy days. And then of course they're never just going to go in and buy the whole lot. They're going to phone up an investment bank and they're going to say, right guys, we've got 1 billion or something to go into the market. We want to try and get an average fill of this price. Work it for us. Um, and Goldman will say, right, no problem. Here's the price. They make some money on it because they quote them a worst bid. And then Goldman will either give them the inventory or they'll start working the book. And I mean, imagine the difference in playing field that is. Imagine getting a call from one of your largest clients saying we want to put 1 billion into the market and we want this average price. Well, you can either start selling because the market's going to be bought back up later anyway, and you're going to be doing it. So you would start hitting into the bid. Do you know what I mean? Or at least get rid of your net long position or whatever, because then you could buy back yourself lower. Well, I would say this one is probably down to the AI bubble, but I would probably say the next 6 months is going to be quite telling, depending on what happens with the Fed. So if the market was thinking that the Fed's potentially left it too late to start cutting, and if U.S. labor market doesn't improve, I think they're going to need to start cutting a little bit quicker than they think. So tomorrow, really key data point. Basically, every week these job numbers come out, and then you've got NFP just around the corner. Um, so all the consumer sentiment reports have come out. Even they've said, the general population in the US going by these Going by the reports of stats that have come out, even they're worried about the labour market. So if the numbers come out and they're really bad, then it's not great. Because then they have a balancing act, right? Of like inflation's not at target. We can't raise anymore because we're absolutely hammering the economy. So we need to start cutting now, but then inflation is not low enough. So that's the dilemma that they always have. And typically when one side tips too much, then you get a recession. You can kind of get an insight into that in the yields, to be honest. Yeah, James, it's certainly nice to know that information. But that's why, I mean, these guys run the show, they run the market. It's just completely different. So you can see they're certainly working the bid down here. I think it could be a little bit of AI tech bubble, to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to materialize as soon as everyone thinks, to be honest. You get Facebook and Google, all these companies are banging billions into AI. I think all these things will have a effect in the future, mate. 100%. Um, I think once it becomes more widely available, a lot of analytics, can be carried out just by, telling it what you want to do, and it will basically give you analytics. I don't know if you guys have ever used, like Chat GPT and things. It's not that accurate, but you know, all of these things can definitely improve, especially for business. Can you imagine having like an FAQ page, get it to learn your business? Like it would basically run your support function. A customer comes and says, "Hey, I've got a problem with this." You know, the AI's already learned all your systems and what your general responses are, and it'll know basically how critical or serious it is depending on all the previous tickets it's received. So the general support side for staff, I think, will be gone at some point. 100%. I mean, can you imagine phoning up like a large supermarket and saying, "Hey, I've got a problem with my order. I'm not happy with the goods or whatever I've received." Like, that's still done by people in this day and age. It's just not going to be a thing. So loads of people are going to be, essentially out of jobs because it's essentially it saves the business on the bottom line. So that's a threat. But obviously for skilled professions and things, it's never going to be a threat. But um, certainly for the sort of lower end of the pay scale, uh, you know, sort of mundane, repeatable tasks, I think they'll definitely be affected in the future. To be honest, yeah, exactly that, exactly. I mean, the parts of it is Yeah, I mean it's a really great function to simply run a support system or queries or whatever. Can you imagine sending a ticket in to like a large organization? You send in a ticket and say, "Hey, I've got a problem with X, Y, and Z." You get a reply instantaneously by, you know, Bob the AI bot, and he is already ran through the last 3 years of tickets that you've got in, and he'll know the responses, know what the best one is, and he'll flag it to an actual senior support staff or something, to let them know if it's something critical or if it's just, can I reset my password? Bob the AI is already connected to is connected into your APIs, so he can reset the password. I mean, when you start connecting that stuff into your APIs, it's basically game over for the human. Frightening. Not that far away, but I don't think this is, I can see Google is basically trying to force shit onto. Have you guys noticed that? Now you type in something and Google basically presents some nonsense to you at the top of the page, regardless if you like it or not. So in the next 5 years, the next generation that comes up, well maybe 10, they're not even going to look through web pages anymore. So they're not even going to go and find, what's in the first two pages and actually critically think about something and compare and contrast. They're just going to search something and, the AI is going to tell them, like, here's the most accurate answer. So people are not going to, do you know what I mean? It kind of takes away their element to think. And it gets even slightly more scary, like, if any of these large tech companies have got an agenda behind them, you know. This is how the stream goes with 1500 Delta on the session. Oh, really? Does that work, James? No way. Give me ideas. Use it for Python scripts. Jeez, oh. Yeah, Dan off that's just taken from the next link down. Yeah, exactly. Google's shit. Wow, that's impressive. Impressive stuff. Right, we look like we're potentially going to go back now and do the thing up here. Retest the roux this area. So we've got singles just coming up. Let me recenter. Okay, break above here. There's some singles. We should see a bit of a pop-a-roo through here if we can break. Pardon me, if we can break it. Hiccups. Okay, let's not say we're going to pull the bid now and back down to 86 we go. Let's see if we can pop above here. We should see a little mini stop run here. You know, should see some sellers having to cover, so we should see a little bit of a pop through here. See if we can get it. There we go. There's the pop-a-roo. Nice little stopper run. And we're back up to resistance. Let's see if they're continually hitting it. You can see no selling really come in those prints, not one here and here. Just a lot of short coverings to bang it through. Classic market making bullshit where they pop it, absorb in the offer, pull the bid, and then take it back down. They just fill out the singles now. So that is the plan of attack. Let's see what they do. Are they going to go back up and reclaim value area high, or just fill this out until Nvidia happens? Yeah, Dan, when you stare at this for long enough, you can see. And you notice as well that a lot of delta come in, so that was these guys that were shorting think it's going to go down, so you need to see some fresh size come in now, and we are getting it right back now to this resistance, and then we're now working our way back. Value area for the session has just changed, working our way back now to POC. So let's see. The threat you now have with this is the move's already gone. You're not buying into this level because likely this is them working out the orders from buying here. So the offer is sticking up because they could be getting out their orders, and then you've got the threat of the theme so far today has been the bid pools. So as soon as these orders are done and they pull the bids, then we're back down to this high volume node here, back down here. So for long position, you need to see them continually lift in, but then as I was saying, the continual theme has been they pull the bid, and then it'll just sort of dump down. That's really the two options you've got. Buyers need to continually get aggressive to basically try and reclaim POC. But it looks like right now they're just working out these levels and then watch for the bid just been pulled where not a lot of contracts will come in, and that's the threat of buying at this level. So you basically had to buy the initial hit. Buying right now is just asking for trouble. Wow, 338 contracts that are hitting to the bid, instantly absorbed. Looks like we're reclaiming POC, boys. Do, 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 do. I have a little bit of a suspicion here that they're going to start pulling the bid, to be honest. So the market's just respected this lower volume area here. We've just traded out. See that? Bars need to reclaim, but then we're pretty much just getting to session point of control at eights, which is not too far above. So I expect a little bit two-way around about here. There's a two-way. Who's going to win? Everything. Look at the Dow and the Russell as well. And that is us now back at session point of control. That is one nasty 5 minute candle. Eh? But the question is, who is buying this? It's just basically taken back majority. Well, that whole move down in the space of 10 minutes. Crazy. Not even. I can't imagine the amount of people that would have been shorting that and averaged and their accounts dust. I bet you there's a large percentage of people that just happened to. Yeah. If we now this is pretty much the sort of the faffing complete, you know. Prior to Nvidia cannot see us breaking VWAP in this level, you know. I wasn't really even expecting this much of a push, to be honest. Just to reclaim POC like that. But yeah, you're pretty much just seeing a ton of short coverings there. Everyone that shorted down here thinking this is going to go to the absolute pits is just basically had to cover here. And then people that then missed the move, they probably end up buying here, chasing this. So key level, let's draw this out here. Let's watch it on the DOM. So what level is that going to be? This is just not stopping, is it, right now? VWAP coming up directly. 16 and a quarter. Right here. Really important level right here on the sesh. Yeah, in hindsight, yeah. I mean, Delta's not really been playing that much of a part, just telling you what the real action is. Sadly, you've got all these people that were buying up here now, trying to chase this, thinking it's going to go to the moon, and this is where they then start pulling the bid, and then you just work your way back down to POC, down at like eights. Or the or that's the long position's been entered by the hedge fund and large firms that took out the exec team of Nvidia last week. You know, the age-old saying, I believe, I believe Nvidia's, my sources are telling me Nvidia's going to knock out the park. Hint, hint, wink, wink, wink. Well, that SAC Capital, whatever, got away with it for years. So I don't see it's. You just need to not be doing it so obvious like these guys. You know, putting up like 50, 60% years and stuff. You know, you could probably do it a little bit and never be caught. Yeah, potentially. It all depends on these numbers, to be honest, that come out. It all depends on how job numbers happen, if the Fed's going to cut, and how the Mag 7 do. That's pretty much the equation. There we go. Sadly, everyone is late to the party, trying to buy the breakout gets stuffed. Okay, next play. Do we have any in the playbook? No. Now we now we do the thing. We do the barcode. Back. This will be the. What does that even look like? Okay, so POC is basically right around sevens or something. Yeah, like here. Pikey boy, how's it going? Green hook. Yeah, basically chilling to value low. It would be extremely nasty right now just to pull the bid. Then you have the other side, people that basically bought the high, or to be honest, they're already covering. I mean, if you basically bought here, right, at this level, now you've got the strategy of praying, and then they just pull the bid, and it comes below. Then you say, I'm never going to buy a breakout ever again. They're always out to get me. If only you come back to my entry one more time. And note, let's have a look now. Note we'll soon see some negative side coming in. There we go. Let's see if they're going to faff around the POC or they go aggressively pull this bid. Let's clear the inside prints and delta so we can actually see what is happening at the mole. You have your stop below here, and then you're going to be like, but it's buy side liquidity or whatever. So I'll take this and then come back up. I don't want to. I don't want to close out. Yeah, exactly, Pig. All had those days. Just as a rule of thumb, as soon as you start praying, you know, hit the flatten button. That's a good rule for you. You then feel every single tick. Yeah, exactly. So we have Nvidia in about an hour. We have 50 minutes till the volume starts to pick up. We did. Very nice. I still think we dance around here for a while. Doesn't seem like there'll be enough volume to basically absolutely dump it. No problem. So we're heading down. I was actually just having a snack. Trader boy, how's it going, buddy? I've not seen you in a while. Yeah, Nvidia's supposed to report at 20 past 4, just after the close. Yeah, you'd rather hold your breath. I like it. Yeah, it's going to be quite crazy when this comes out. We're now in balance. So the upside for this play is the singles that were left today. If we do manage to get up here, then we'll reclaim this higher volume node for the week. This one up here. There should be a lot of selling waiting up here and profit taking in here as well. So it's going to be hard to get through 30s. So now we just do the POC dance. Hit the like button for me, please, guys. And let me know you're here. So there's 29 of you lovely people watching. No lurking. Say hello. Hello, Dean. Nice of you to join us, buddy, and say hello. Just going to pop this in the chat for anyone that would like to show some support to the channel. You can do that via coffee or via the super chats or members or anything. I really need to get round and doing the cool little stickers and stuff. Yeah, Pike, the POC dance. The flippy floppy around. I think that's pretty much it. This is now. We'll probably now be in something like a 15-20 tick range, I'd imagine, for the next 30 minutes. You'll clear these prints. Yep, exactly. Full margin for Tickaroo. Yes, you were, Alex. The man to ignite the coffee. You can never have enough coffee, to be honest. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, we only had a couple hundred subs. We're near approaching 2,000 subs, which is nice. It's been growing very organically, which is good. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, appreciate it, mate. So make it look like we're going to go up. There's not really any real reason for the market to move for here, especially before this news. Yeah, well, sadly, some of the biggest influencers still promote candlesticks, and that's, you know, it's just the way it is. Very simply, whatever you're seeing in the depth of markets, it literally creates the candles. So you've got no idea if the bid or offer is actually really strong, if they're just pulling or, bait and switching as such. Like very typically, if you weren't looking at the flows right now, you'd say this market's been up, it's going up again. I'm now going to buy, and then very likely they're probably going to pull it down, and then you'll just get chopped around. So you guys have any prediction on the Nvidia? Do you think we're going to have a big beat? Pike, they didn't. They used to trade in the pits, and they would just listen to noise, and they would actually get to see. So it's done over the phone. and it was done in pits. And believe it or not, it's just the amount of margin for error. So, someone would say, right, 500 at 20s or whatever the case may be, right? They would shout out a number and they would use their specific hand signals for buying and selling. But then you literally got to see who a broker was. You literally knew the guy that was a large trader, and then all the noise would pick up because people were buying and selling, literally shouting. So your ears can't deceive you. You know, it's literally loads of noise. The market's busy, and then they would take an order and then they would pass it to their broker and clerk, and then they would punch it through, and then someone would manually key it into a computer. Crazy how that operated. No, not seen that. I'll need to watch that, Alex. I'm assuming you guys have seen the film, not the film, the trading documentary, The Trading Pit or The Floor or something. It's a good analysis of it. Back in those days, when they're executing, they're not exactly the smartest people, to be honest. It's just things weren't done by algorithms. Hmm. Oh, they're probably they would just literally. Actually, it's the same idea. Same idea. The pit started, way, way, way back. That was the many, many, many years ago, way, way back. They would do it. They would need to physically walk in and they would trade. Everything was done physically, obviously, in those days. Both has its pros and cons, to be honest. There's speeds and nowadays, the market access that you have, to be able to trade is amazing. But then people lose the way with it all because they don't realize what it was actually like before. So the concepts are still the same. It's just done by algorithms that are people now. That's crazy. Okay, how's it going? The part that amazes me though is that they would do positions. Positions would be carried out with someone else on your honesty. Then you had to pass that to a runner, and then it would ultimately be, filed through a computer manually at the end of the day. The margin for error there is just. I mean, I can imagine that almost been a daily basis where, you know, it's very likely that your trades could be off, especially if you're in the pits and you're trading really frequently. You're literally, they were the market makers then. So you're and then they'll offer out the bid and then the bid out in the offer. And you see someone, he's got a lot of size to come in and shift, and you provide the liquidity for them, and you can quickly, get a couple of ticks on their size. Change days. And that's the thing, in those days as well, because the edge was literally that you were there and you actually got to see all of that. When a lot of these dudes go from the pit to screens, a lot of the time they don't make it because it's not even remotely the same. You need to have a much more deeper understanding of the market. Another thing that you don't think about as well, but we're actually now pressing here. Wouldn't be surprised if we pull it back in. Another thing you don't think about as well is you got to literally see the guy that was, net long from a position buying. You actually got to see the dude. And if the position goes against him, you get to see him under pressure. you know. So you can probably say if I bang it through this level, he's going to need to cover. You actually literally get to see the guy. It's not even remotely the same. And you also know where he's going to be net long and net short from if you're paying enough attention. Yeah, exactly, McCoo. Yeah, I think realistically, if you ended up screwing anyone on it, you just get a bad rep. So everyone was kind of like almost like a gentleman's agreement between traders. Yeah, funny ties, funny jackets, funny badges. Yeah, I can imagine you need to be hyped out your mind. Oh, there we go. There's a little mini popperoo. I'd be really surprised if we continually bang this above 20s before Nvidia. If it is, it makes you beg the question of, do they know? And the thing is that they weren't even looking at graphs. It was just, price boards. Do you know what I mean? Think about that, how crazy that is. Different. How different that is to now. Crazy times. Nice. Nice, Baku. We're about to do the pulley of the bid. Back to POC. Can't imagine any business needs to be done past those levels at this time. See what happens. We have 20 minutes. There's definitely pros and cons to both environments, to be honest with you. Different personality types, to be honest, to be able to excel at these things as well. And it's really like anything, if you don't adapt, you die, as the saying goes. Natural selection and all that. Yeah, certainly have some stories from the pit back in the day. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely, Alex, it's definitely a battle with yourself. That's the thing. Um, and realistically, the number one thing is controlling the downside. Because if you, one thing to remember right now is the fact that you've had all these winning days. You know, you'll go through a period of losing, but if you remember what it's like to win 10 days in a row, you're clearly doing something correct. So when you go through a bad spell, you just need to make sure you control the downside because the bad spell or a couple of losing days in a row is inevitable, right? Not that I want to jinx you or anything, bud. Um, but remember when the times are good, so you control risk when the times are bad. Nice. Oh, really? Okay, nice. Yeah, pike upside down dinosaur. I mean, to be fair, we were saying that this sweep of the level was important for them to bang it back up. I just didn't expect it to do as aggressive as this. Pre GDP and pre Nvidia, they're not going to bang it this low and then continually sink it. Prior to that, the people, if you know, it's not like there's more buying. It's the fact it can't go down because these guys need to start taking profits. They're not going to hold that through Nvidia. They're going to start eking out of their position. Yeah, exactly. So there's just absolutely no flows going in right now. Just again, fluff around. We'll be back at POC. Give it 10 minutes. Have you guys ever watched anything for the PAX? Is it PAX Kenna? The I think he was mainly trading NQDS back in the days. Big fan of the open range breakout. I don't think that guy really trades anymore. I think he just tells stories now. Really, really cool guy, but here we are back down at POC. What do you mean by a list? Just like recommendations or something? I don't really recommend that many videos unless the majority of stuff on YouTube is nonsense. To be pretty blunt, I like watching. psychology stuff is good. You can always benefit from that. But in terms of strategies and things, a lot of the time you need to develop something yourself, and someone will learn a different way than someone else. So it just depends. Yeah, that's crazy numbers. Yeah, I mean, completely changed days. Those days the market was so much thicker. It didn't move as much. So it's literally their market. Because imagine what trading would be like if the market got to a level and you had thousands of contracts to unload there. You literally know the market is not going to go any further. Yeah, that's wild. There's no danger you can keep up to the task and all those markets. You pretty much just have conditions and alerts that you look for. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. He's not really looking at them though. He's just got a condition that he's looking. Where's the most volume? Where's the most size been traded? I think that's pretty much all he's looking for. It's not possible to actually know everything buying 15 markets in a day. It's not possible. He's not a robot. So he must just be looking for where the specific size is and where the most volume traded and where's the action. That's that's pretty much it. Which I suppose has its pros and cons because you're typically trying to look where there's actual direction instead of only trading one product and then you have days where you get chopped up. There's advantages to it, but then there's lots of disadvantages as well. Nice. Yeah, I think if you trade multiple markets, it is easier to swing. Um, but I think though in general, you're never going to be intimate with one market. Sorry, 15 markets in a session. Like you must have just filters and conditions that you're looking for. You know, and then very typically, if you're doing that, you're paying absolutely zero attention to fundamentals or correlations or whatever. I suppose with correlations, you're going to have, if you're trading indices, you're going to have up the Mag sevens, but that's about it. So different style. Just really depends what floats your boat. Because I mean, realistically, people can't trade one, never mind 15. Do you know what I mean? So you need to have been doing it for a long time and know exactly what you're looking for with the specific conditions in order to be able to recognize it. Another thing I think too as well is that's pretty challenging is every market goes through different regimes and different cycles. different thresholds, different volume, different times that some are seasonal, some are not. Um, so you need to put the time into those specific markets to know when thresholds are different and so on, because you can't just have the same thresholds all the time, of course. So it's just a constant, whatever which way you do it, it's a constant amount of tweaking. Okay, we have 5 minutes. There's some size coming before it, but it's the third time we've tried to crack here. Yeah, I think really, if you're going to, in my opinion, for longer term trading, just buy an S&P ETF and just forget about it. That's the easiest way. Like, do you want a guarantee to make money in the next 10 years? Buy an S&P ETF. You're not going to make a huge amount of money. You maybe beat inflation, but it's like annualize something like 5-6%. Some years are good years, some years are rubbish. Just depends. Okay, we have 4 minutes till the fun begins. Hopefully, you guys have your hard hats on. We are going to go on to financial juice here because I want to hear the tape that comes on. Can you tell us if it's going to be a beat or a miss? Exactly, that's what I'm saying, mate. You just buy and hold with no leverage. Um, it's like the only way that you can, really trade and almost guarantee yourself some money, but you're holding it for the rest of your life. That's the thing. It's more like a retirement plan than it is to be an income. And sadly, you need to put tons of money into it to actually make any money because you're only going to make 5% a year. And its job is just to beat inflation. Enjoy the smoke, dude. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The seatbelt sign is now switched on. Please prepare for takeoff. I will be your instructor today. We'll run through the safety precautions. No full porting, no all-ins. Make sure and use a stop. So we have what, 20 minutes to NVIDIA? NVIDIA does it. Okay, market on closing balance just incoming. Yeah, NVIDIA, it comes out, in the report. Uh, NVIDIA is a Ponzi. They don't have any products. They don't sell graphics cards, and everything's a scam. How's it with that? S&P down 50%. Uh, I've lost the plot. Ooh. 15 million sell side for Mag 7, 1.5 billion buy side to ES. I think it was 250 million buy side for NQ. And who gives a shit about whatever they said about the Dow and the Russell? And yeah, we're pretty close away to the pop. Just literally swept just before. I mean, there's no reason for them to break prior to this. They need to wait for Nvidia to come out to break above here. So we have, 9 minutes. We've got maybe 13 minutes more of this. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if they are going to bang it. Would be surprising if they do it pre Nvidia, to be honest. 1.5 billion to the buy side though, coming in. This should be going here, like now. It should be popping. It should see a stop run. This should be blipping up if it's to go. Wouldn't really call that a blip. There we go. There's the blip. There's the blipperoo. The single prints are not too far away. Yeah, I mean, it can be, mate. I wouldn't really say so, to be honest with you. I think by the time we get it, it's already been actioned. They've hit above this level. This is like what, fourth time? And they're struggling to get past it. They need to really step above 24s. Cup and handle to the moon. I mean, this is the thing. Right before this news comes out, they're literally right at a key level where they could take all this out up here. So we'll see. It's always very sus when the market gets to a really key level right before news. Should I wait to trade till the first since I have my 10 days secured? I'm thinking of my next game plan. I'm wondering if I should take a break and start back up next pay cycle to secure the payout. What would you guys do? I would 100%, if you've done all that, mate, and you've got some payouts to take, 100% take the money, dude. Do not trade. Do not do anything like that. Do not fall into the prop firm trap. Take the money. Take the money, and if anything, go and start on an evaluation or something. Enjoy the hard work you've put in, and do not jeopardize it. work on your edge, do anything apart from trading those accounts. Also, the fact that this is going to be a payout for you realizes all the hard work you've put in. It makes you realize that some things, all the hard work you're doing is actually tangible and provide you something in real life instead of clicking buttons. You know, the money's never yours till it's in your account. Exactly, mate. In the next couple of days as well, you've got tons of data coming out tomorrow and Friday. Uh, so sim, don't trade. You've locked it in. Chillax. Okay, 4 minutes till algo time till they close out the positions. See if we write it back to POC. We have just put 10k delta in, so I'd like to see some of that potentially closed off. It's not a huge amount on the sesh though. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you do, just don't trade the account you're going to take money from. That's the last thing. Here we go. Back to POC we go. Little bit of two-way. Good. Nicely done. Well done, mate, for doing all that. Fantastic stuff. Definitely, you know, you've done a great job. So take your time. Rome wasn't built in a day. We're going to clear these inside prints here. The amount of times, uh, they've sort of trapped people here long and then whipping it back is crazy. No problem, mate. I'm glad I can help. Here we go. Here's all the business been done. See if we take it down to POC, back down to like sevens and eights. Really trading out this area, isn't it, here? Here we are, back down to POC. It's crazy action, this. Well, it's a correction. A lot of de-risking right before the Nvidia. Again, people that bought that breakout now start to pray again. Yeah, we'll work our way back now to POC and we'll end the sesh at 7s or 8s. Two minutes remaining until the volume absolutely dies off a cliff. Next on the schedule, we have Nvidia in 18 minutes. We'll get to see what the numbers are, I'll let you guys know, and then we can see if it's going to be a beat or a miss. See what the revenue is, what they've got forecasted, if they've hit any targets, what's the roadmap going to be. We'll get all of that cool stuff. If I had a marketing brain, I would have named this title Nvidia Earnings. So we'll see if Nvidia is going to put out another ridiculous beat. It always seems to continuously do it. It's absolutely, in the last couple of years, it's just went bananas, that company. Cheers, Jamesy boy. You're not going to stay around for the Nvidia life? See what happens? Because we could roller coaster in the next 14 minutes. Get your jetpack on. So key levels we have for Nvidia coming out. I mean, complete shocker downside is going to be down here. See if we can sweep down here for Nvidia. So we've got this sweep level to continue through. Seems a world away at the minute. And if it comes out a beat, we take this up, and then we pretty much will close. We've got all this level up here to fill out and thicken out for the session, and this higher volume node up here, just at the start of open. I'm not going to be trading this, but Nvidia continually puts out great numbers all the time, so we'll see what it's going to be like. Um, and obviously they do it at the time where it's not in regular trading hours, so that the market doesn't go too wild. So we're going to see what's going to happen. We'll take away this level now; it's not relevant. So this is the protection. If we take out this level here, if we take out this level here, then the next stop is to go up here. I mean, Nvidia itself is expecting something like a 6 to 9% move here, both to the up and down side. So it's going to depend, and probably in the next 5 minutes we're going to get what their forecasts are going to be, and see if they have a beat or a miss. So my take on it, I mean, this is one stock, right? For the Nasdaq is going to be absolutely wild because it's so heavily driven by the Mag 7s. I mean, so is ES. Um, Now there's not that much volume going to be in pre-market. We're now essentially the close has happened, so all the true volume is gone. And you can see that by the prints. Okay, 28.56 billion revenue. Wouldn't mind if you threw me a billion. That would be nice. Interesting. So Nvidia is allocating billions to AI, which I mean every tech company is at the minute. and they've got a shortage on chips at the minute. So they're basically going to go out and see if the shortage is going to be met, or are they going to affect the supply chain. So we'll see. Seems like they've never really got their finger out with the chip shortages, have they? So we'll see what the report's going to be, if we're going to smash the revenue and we're going to go to the moon. Typically for this number, 28.56 billion, you'd want to see, like, if that comes in forecast, the market's already pricing that shit in, right? So it needs to come out where, what was their previous earnings? How much have they beat them by? If you're beating this out by another couple of billion, is expected, then, amazing. But if they're only going to beat it by like a million or something, it's not even worth, it's not even worth. And if they come out and they say they've missed expectations on the revenue because they've not sold enough because of the chip shortages, for example, and say they miss by a billion or so, that's going to have more significance in the market than the actual numbers. And this is where AI, funny enough, they're pumping billions into AI. But when they put out their full report, the AI will quickly scan it and basically see the weaknesses and strengths in the report, because it's not just, a lot of the time, if the headline numbers are a miss or a beat, you know they're not really going to come into play that much unless they're like way out of standard deviations. But if they come out in the report and say things like, next couple of quarters we're not going to have enough supply to meet demand, it's not good. So we'll see how the roadmap's going to be affected. And they've got three different guys. They've got three different guys that report, and then in the middle of the night, it's not even a person. It's just a it's a uh, just a robot that speaks. AI, funny enough. They just got like an AI voice that speaks. But I think there's three chaps that typically speak, and they're all London based as far as I'm aware. Also, the other key headline there was billions into AI that they've not seen any positive effect from. Completely flat with the market going down there, so pulling the bids. Completely flat at POC as expected prior to the data coming out. You notice how the volumes dropped off a cliff. Look at the size coming out. So I think the market's already sort of pricing this in. If we get, if it's relatively in line, then nothing too major is going to happen. It's probably just going to be whippy whippy. But we'll see. 3 minutes remaining. Everyone get your hard hats on. So if we see an absolute miss that happens and they realise the AI is not helping them at all and they've nuked billions of pounds, we go down here. Also, if they're not meeting their shortages for chips, if that continues to be a problem, then we go down here, think about and say, that's not a problem at all. That's all sorted. They smash revenue, dividends are high, and everything is good to go. Then we break here and work our way up to 38.40s. Or the alternative option, it comes out everything in line, market's already priced it in, and we faff around. Yeah, yeah, trading. There's definitely an AI voice that kicks in the Asia session, overnight session. Obviously for big events and and big like big meetings and stuff that are sort of red herrings, they'll probably put someone on a night shift for it. But here we go, guys. Anticipation. 1 minute remaining. Okay, NQ is look at the spread in NQ. Spread like 8 to 10 ticks. What the hell? You'll have some smuck right now. Will be like aggressively buying or sell. Look at the spread on this. Wow. Okay, here we go. 10 seconds. Beat. Beat on revenue. Beat again on data centers. Beat on gross margin. Okay, so good numbers. There we go up. Oh, 50 billion buybacks as well. That is cracking numbers across the board for them. Absolutely cracking numbers. Beat on everything. Shortages is going to be fine. 50 billion of buybacks. I don't you need to look at Nvidia, but it must be absolutely mooning right now. We're probably talking up 3% now. Wow. These guys always smash out of the park, man. Yeah, been moving crazy. Just shows you how ES has already priced all this in. On those numbers that came out, this should have never sold off. So good bid. So this is the kind of edge you can have on news if you're already prepped. I don't do this with equities, but I do it with for bonds. If that number comes out and it's a beat on everything, right? And the markets in ES is absolutely dumping. You should be saying to yourself this shouldn't be going down, so you buy. You know what I mean? But I ultimately don't know enough about Nvidia to make those calls in terms of what was Q1 earnings like, how was the 2023 numbers, in comparison. But the 50 billion sorry in buybacks is crazy as well. I wonder if there's anything else that's in the actual reports because we only get the key headlines. What do you think that we just end at POC? Nvidia is down now down 3.5% despite putting crazy beats in. There's definitely something they're not saying about that report. $1.4 billion beat on revenue. This is absolutely dumping. Wow. If the, Up 3% to down 6%. Wow. Imagine you're a full port and long in there. Thoughts if we can sweep this low here and then work our way back up? There we go. That was quick. April. This is crazy. No wonder they do this post market. Classic sweep. This doesn't make any sense as to why this is going down. There's literally not one bad bit of news that's coming out, unless they were expecting better numbers. But I think now we're just going to go back to POC. That is a sweep if I've ever seen one. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually go back above now. Up 3%, down 9%, back up to basically flat now from video. That's wild, isn't it? So realistically, this just looks like potentially some profit taking and then going down. I mean, classic sweep of the low, right back in, I suppose. Very strange. So clearly just a way to balance out the books. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, I feel with these companies, they just moon regardless. Um, and then they come out and they do like a 2 billion beat on revenue, and it's already overvalued as it is typically. Yeah, they're certainly selling it in. So see, we'll probably see what happens over the next 10 minutes to see if the market can do anything, or if we're just going to range around here. Again, that's coming out, and they were trading NQ there. Yeah, literally be one contract, mate. Let's bring up. Let's bring up for you open time and sales. Yeah, let's not filter it. Let's just put it to one contract. It's literally one contract at a time. It's filtered to five. So let's just delete that. And you see it's just one and two contracts that are going through. It's no real size. For me in general, down at these levels here, this is a really good buy down here. Basically to try and revert back in. Yeah, Alex, I see there. Yeah, Enki will just be one lots as well. It's going through, but you need to see probably some aggregation at price, see what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Work our way back down into POC now, and then we'll do all that, taking souls, and then end back at POC, and literally nothing happened. Yeah, was a nice one. Wow, 4 contracts. 40. Holy smokes. Biggest contract yet. It's a bit more aggressive buying coming in there. There's been a 40, a 22. It's been the highest we've seen so far. It's a shame. No problem, Alex. Have a good evening, buddy. I'm probably going to grab some food soon too. We'll give it 5 more minutes. I want to see if we end it POC or not. Yeah, I think that'll pretty much be us, guys. GDP tomorrow and jobs as well. So it'll be quite a crazy couple hours to open the session. Forty's a cat and a keyboard. Nice. Okie dokie, guys. We'll probably look to call it there. You all have a great evening. Let me know if you get any questions before we look to call it. Okay, guys, you all take care, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Have a great evening. Peace, everyone.